fight?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
He
sorry.
disappeared. Yes. We're going to bring Otis in shortly. I've had a silly idea for how to get him in. So we'll do that. Are we ready, Medi?
Yeah, we are live. Yes.
Are we ready, Medi? So, welcome back, everybody. It has been far too long due to one thing and another. We basically took the whole of August off for every game that I was running or playing in.
Lazy fuckers with lives.
I know. That is the way it goes. That is definitely the way it goes sometimes. Okay, so we are back. Welcome a new player. So Otis is joining us. He will get a chance to introduce his character later on. Hopefully we'll all have a bit of fun with that. And for the next hour or so, Seaball will be on typing rather than voice. So we'll just have to just make a little bit of go a little bit slow for Seaball to type. So by way of recap, this is session 3, I believe. Session 1 was very much character creation. Session 2 was pretty much a fight. Session 3 is kicking off the story properly. So you were travelling with the Deadwood stage, following down the path that kind of runs alongside, to a degree, the Iron Dragon Railroad down to Deadwood. You're probably a day or so out from Deadwood at this point, maybe a little bit less, when you were ambushed by members of what was known as the Bass Gang. You you kind of dealt with that situation at a little bit of a cost in kind of time and a little bit of damage to the stage. But as you were kind of waiting for the McKeever brothers to sort of figure out what they needed to do to get the stage back to normal, and most of the damage was just generally from the fight rather than anything that was done in... give me 1 second, actually. That's a really good reminder. Let's do that. Why does the doctor not... Otis, you need to update your character sheet with your total number of bennies. It should be 3, I believe, because you are a...
Yeah.
There you go.
Start of a game session.
Yeah, that is correct. There was a... so a couple of you were riding in the stage and the rest of you have your own horses. So Cole, the chaplain, the preacher, was riding in stage with a gentleman who, for the most part, has been fast asleep. But he is dressed a little bit strangely. And we'll come to that when he wakes up shortly. But the rest of you, as I say, you dealt with the Bass Gang. As you were kind of waiting to get going again and sort that out, you heard a train in the distance in the night. You didn't pay much attention to that or much heed to that. Not necessarily unusual to hear a train, maybe unusual to hear a train at sort of 9-10 o'clock in the evening. What you were kind of taken aback by is the arrival of an Indian, badly wounded, who told you about the attack on Wavoka and how he needed help from somebody to kind of save him. His words were, "Please help us. Wavoka is in danger. White Calf." He's called Skyhawk, represented Wavoka, chief of the Paiutes and bringer of the Ghost Dance. He is in danger. I will die. He will die if I do not bring help quickly. So you decided to go and help, following the trail as you did, away from the stage road maybe half a mile or so, far enough away that you can't see it and far enough away that you couldn't necessarily hear anything on it. And down into a valley where the one of the Cheyenne River tributaries kind of passes. And it's down there that you were, or you attacked a group of Indians that seemed to be focused on another group of Indians that were down at the bottom of the valley on a small island or a couple of islands in the river. After defeating them, that was kind of where we left it last session. So, as the silence of the battle kind of, the noise of the battle passes and the silence of the night sets in, you can start to hear the coyotes calling, the odd owl here and there hooting. A number of figures kind of move down at the bottom of the valley. What are you going to do? Skyhawk, who was the your representative, was kind of stood on the very edge of the fight due to his injuries.
Yeah, I'm going to head down the slope towards the island and see if there's anybody injured there that I can help.
Okay. Heading down, there are a couple of figures who are bent over other figures that are laid in the sand and the mud. Those figures do not appear to be moving, and the other figures, definitely dressed as sort of native Indians, are talking in their own kind of language. One of them, a youngish man, kind of puts his hand up as he sees you come down, and he kind of tilts his head a little bit, and he, yes? You are? You're on mute, Mehdi.
Sorry, hands away from my gun as I'm walking towards him. It's hard to do. Put your hands up when you're trying to hold a button down. So, yeah, walk towards him and say, "Do not fear, my son. We're here to help you. I'm Colt."
And how come you found us at such a timely point?
Your young friend up there, Skyhawk, he found us and told us you were in trouble.
He made it then?
Yeah, he's a little bit worse for wear, but we patched him up and he's come back with us.
That is good. That is good. Well, I thank you and your companions for your timely intervention. Come, join us. The night is late. This is not a good night for travel. Our camp, and he kind of gestures a little bit, sort of up over the other side of the river and up over a bank, is Yon Hills. 10-minute walk.
Yeah, refresh my memory. We left the stagecoach at the back, didn't we?
Yes.
It might be worth
Back on the road.
Yeah, it might be worth somebody going back for the stagecoach then. That's mighty kind of you, sir. We need to just arrange something to do with our stagecoach, and we'd be quite glad to join you.
Well, I can spare a couple of my men to join you if you wish to go and bring your fellows. I presume there are others at the stagecoach.
Indeed.
Or my scouts will know where to bring them. If that is acceptable, come. Let us share a pipe of peace.
That sounds like a plan.
So, who's going back to the stage?
So who's going back for the stage, was that?
Yeah.
I'll go back.
Okay. You are joined by a pair of Paiute braves who, one of them kind of nods at you and kind of just kind of looks at you and just says, "Stagecoach this way," and he points up and away from the valley.
Yeah, follow me, and I'll lead off with the horse.
All right, the rest of you are taken down across the river. The remaining Paiutes and Wovoka make no real move to do anything with the enemy Indians. They do, however, kind of very gently kind of wrap and carry their 3 fallen companions and take them up with them. After a little bit of time, you arrive at the camp. It is a small camp, a couple of tents, and a decent-sized campfire. The campfire's embers are burning down, but as soon as they arrive, they start to bustle around and kind of start to stir up the embers and get them moving. The young shaman, or the young Indian that spoke to you, kind of sits, and he's quite striking, twinkling eyes, long black hair. And after a while, he gestures to you all to sit near him.
So I was interrupted by the wife then.
That's okay. It just looked like a pair of disembodied hands that were waving at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go over and sit down.
As you all sit and take up, he kind of pulls out a really kind of quite a long pipe, tamps down the tobacco, he lights it in the fire, takes a big long drag, and then he passes it round.
Yeah, I've got my own stash now. I will take a
Yeah, I'll just copy him.
Okay.
yeah.
The folks that join you at the campfire look like they've seen hard times. A number of them are wounded, but it's not that gives the impression of hard times. Their clothing is faded, their skin is more kind of weathered than usual. Their gear just looks like they've been on the trail for many days. Friends, I'm called Wovoka. You have thanks for what you have done. Now and always, you will be considered friends of the ghost dancers. Please, eat, participate of our meal, smoke, and then we shall get to business. The next sort of half hour, 45 minutes.
The sort of food they're eating, is it look plentiful, or does it look like they're on hard times and it's like bits and pieces?
It's not plentiful, but it's also not very meagre fare. They've probably got braces of rabbit and stuff like that amongst the food that they're sharing. But you do get the sense that for each one of you who takes a bowl, there's going to be a less of a bowl for the Paiute Braves. But equally, they have lost 3 or 4 of their own, and so that kind of puts it a little bit.
They're going to eat then.
I was just thinking the same thing. It's like if they offer us
Long pig.
the hand of one of their photos, it's like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
But we've got our own food, so I'll take ours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also won't be partaking in the pipe either.
Otis, you are suddenly woken from a very deep sleep, a very enjoyable snooze, to a couple of things. First of all, voices outside the wagon, and the fact that the wagon isn't really moving.
Arouse myself, and bang on the roof, and shout, "Are we there yet? Have we arrived?"
Oh, Doctor, forgive us. No, ran into a bit of a problem.
Problem?
And the other fellas have disappeared.
Other fellas? No. Where have they gone? Why have they gone?
Well, something about a gang wanting to hold us up, followed by an injured Indian.
Indians, are they dangerous?
Well, not if you treat them right, I think.
Not come across many before.
Hmm.
Well, how far
Well-
have we got to go? How far have we got left to travel?
About
It's getting dark.
8 or 9 hours.
Ah, no inns or hotels nearby, I assume then?
No, we just push on through the night, or we stop and camp under the stars, Doctor.
I guess we're camping under the stars then, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope so. Always wanted to study the stars without out here. Sound good? Right. Open the door from the coach and climb out.
Okay. You can see a couple of. Did you guys take your horses with you when you went with the Indian? Can't remember. You
Think
did.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
I use mine in the combat. Yeah.
T-ball. Yeah. Okay. So it is very quiet. The other travelling companions that you were with, the clergyman, the pastor, the clergyman. Are you a pastor?
Sorry, yes, I'm a pastor,
Pastor. Yeah. Okay.
not a pasty.
Yeah, a Cornish pastor. Yeah, so the gentleman, the pastor that was riding in the wagon with you, seems to have not be there, and the three others that were kind of riding on horseback. You've had a little bit of a chance to speak to them, but not a huge chance. You know, they seem to prefer the company of their horses to a nice, warm, somewhat armoured wagon that you and the pastor have been travelling in. The two brothers are kind of busying around, sort of checking over one of the horses. It seems to have got a bit lame, and is causing them a little bit of consternation. It's about now that you hear the sound of hooves catching stone here and there.
Turn towards the sound of the noise. I mean, I'm looking around for any signs of a camp or somewhere to at least sit down and warm myself.
You are in the middle of what you've come to recognise as the Deadwood stage road. Not even pulled over to one side. The lantern is on the back and the front of the wagon, casting a small glow around you, but the stars are out and the night is a nice, cool September evening. You kind of look towards kind of swivel yourself towards the sound of the horse. It doesn't appear to be coming along the road, and then you gradually make out a head that starts to appear up from the sort of the dip in the road, followed by a somewhat familiar figure. You think it's Blake, the ranch hand, who was travelling with you.
Do the guys looking at the horse look concerned at the sound of a horse approaching quickly?
One of them kind of stopped and obviously grabs his shotgun and kind of holds it in the crook of his arm. Not too threatening, but certainly not in a manner that says, "I will use this if I need to."
At a distance from the actual stage, I'll shout out to stay the weapons.
Okay. One of the two figures at the front. That you, Blake?
Yeah, I just got two people of the nations with me.
Oh. That good or bad, Blake?
Still breathing.
What do they want?
We're camping with them tonight, so pack up, get ready to go, and we'll be heading out. They'll be taking us to their camp.
Safe, is it?
Yeah. Oh, like I say, still breathing.
Is it far?
I've only seen half the journey, so not that far. Oh, you woke up?
Oh yeah, I thought we were there. Everything stopped and went quiet.
What did you take to sleep through the gunfight?
Oh, medicinal powder helps me sleep when the road's long and rough.
Okay.
Too complicated, but it's makes it a relaxing journey.
You may not have woke up.
All right. After a few minutes, the two Indian scouts kind of wait just off the road, just in the shadows. You can see them. They're not menacing. They're not looking like they're going to do any harm, but they are kind of deliberately not coming too close. After a while, the McKeever brothers kind of get on the wagon and gingerly start to steer it around that hole in the sand in the road that the Bass gang had built, had dug, and kind of starts to follow you. The road, well, the trail, the path, if you like, is not really any of those things. It's literally just straight up and down. But the Indians, mindful that you're bringing a fairly big and well-armored stage down to their camp, take you on a little bit more of a circuitous route down and around and through a shallow part of the Cheyenne River sort of tributary, and then up. And gradually, the rest of you who have been enjoying a meal and general chit-chat, nothing too heavy over the last sort of 45, 50 minutes, can gradually hear the steady creaking of the wheels of the stage as it kind of gets closer. And every time I think of this stage, I think of the Doctor in flipping Django Unchained with his bouncing tooth for some bizarre reason. And you know, after a few moments, you know, the stage is pulled up and the McKeever brothers come down. The Doctor comes out, and you kind of tie up your horses and you go join them around the camp. And Doctor, if you've never seen Indians before, they don't look that much different, other than they're slightly more tanned. These ones, interestingly, a couple of things about the ones that you've noticed. So those of you who have stayed here, none of them carry guns or firearms of any kind. Their clothing is traditional, handcrafted, probably from bison skin or other kind of animals like that. They're not wearing any what you all would deem modern clothing. Their paraphernalia around camp is very basic. It's wooden bowls or and kind of deer skin and similar kind of like blankets and things like that. There isn't a sort of what you would, you know, a Western item to be seen at all amongst these people. And as Blake, as you sit down and as the Doctor sits down, he kind of, the young shaman kind of nods at each of you and pauses. Shall we, for Otis's benefit, shall we go around the group and introduce characters? He would have been awake, and then obviously Otis, you can introduce your correct. Yes, very traditional. And then Otis, you can introduce your character and of what they might have sussed about him on the journey. The journey so far has probably been 4 or 5 days. Shall we start with Kath?
Okay. Name's Tom Lowry. Wears basically a long duster, like pretty much everyone else here. Stetson, got a quick draw holster, and constantly shuffling a deck of cards when he's not actively doing anything. That's about it so far.
Yeah, and your travelling companion in the coach is Colt Carson. As in the occasional time where you have woken up, you'll have seen him just sat there, hand on his gun at the side. But he's always got the Bible in his hand, and he's flicking through the pages and reading from Scripture as he goes. Doesn't really say that much, but does have stern eyes, and is usually polite whenever you've spoken to me.
Cool. Blake?
Yeah, Blake's a, I suppose, just above average height, young man. Quite good looking. He's obviously a ranch hand by the way he sits his horse, and the obvious ranchman paraphernalia that he's wearing. And yeah, I think I mentioned last time he'd mentioned over food and things like that, and fireside chats, that he used to be on his family's ranch, but that was destroyed, and it's his aim to find out who destroyed it.
And so far you don't know, do you?
No, not a clue.
It was me.
Debor, are you good to type away? There you go. There we go. And he is known, most of the group call him Billy, right? Yeah. Otis, do you want to describe your character and what they may have gleaned about him whilst you've been on the journey together?
So the Doctor is medium height, sort of average build. He's impeccably dressed, waistcoat, long overcoat rather than a duster. Has a pocket watch that's doesn't necessarily appear to tell the time. In fact, you can't really tell what it does. It's just something that he fiddles with it quite frequently. He has a pair of goggles on the top of his forehead, and his hair is somewhat unkempt. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. It looks like he's just got up. And tucked into his belt, he has a large pair of what would be sort of rubberized gauntlets, not quite gloves, but considerably bigger. Polite, intent listener, curious about absolutely everything, just sticks his nose in, just trying to find out what's going on and why it works in a certain way, why people do things a certain way, what he can learn from them. I'm assuming we're travelling to Deadwood, are we?
Cool. Give me a sec. The missus just got home, so I'm just going to say hello to her. Welcome amongst yourselves.
You don't have like a really large blue suitcase, do you, and a pocket full of jelly babies?
Not quite, no jelly babies, but certainly when he's opened his bag up, there have been sort of odd powders and substances inside it, along with bits of metal and odd devices of nondescript or intriguing design. And he probably would have introduced himself as Dr. Isaac Newton III.
Nice.
I have a horrible feeling that we're going to get blown up at some point soon.
Yeah, I might not be able to help you.
Now, I think you're going to be the cause.
You may think that I couldn't possibly comment.
I get the feeling it's going to be like the character from Critical Role, that through the actual adventures are going to start missing fingers.
Yeah, I was reading through the rules for dynamite and its instability, and nitroglycerine, which
Yeah.
Nitroglycerine is fun.
and illegal apparently because of its instability.
Yes.
which means I definitely need to get my hands on some. So was the stage originally travelling towards Deadwood? I'm assuming that's where we were headed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we were ambushed.
Okay.
You know when you have a job to do and you're thinking what that job is and you forget you should have done it? I didn't put the wife's dinner on.
So she's ordering takeout, is she?
No. Yeah. I put the oven
Just
on.
opening the door in the doghouse.
Just put the oven on for her.
Job done.
Okay. As time ticks on and the stars above you sort of you watch as they kind of move around the horizon, the hemisphere. Wovoka holds up his hand and the general conversation amongst the remaining Paiutes goes quiet. He looks at each of you and speaks. By the will of the Great Spirit, our paths have crossed. The Order of the Raven, these evil ones who tried to kill us tonight. They would rather we die, and word of the ghost dance die with us. Do you know of the ghost dance? And as he says that, he kind of looks at each of you. Though you get a sense it's more of a rhetorical question than one that is waiting specifically for an answer. He carries on. I will tell you. This dance brings powerful medicine into our world from the unseen world of spirits. Cleansing medicine. Medicine to burn out the worm that makes a dead man walk and to lift this unnatural dread that hangs everywhere. You have noticed it, or you have already know of it. I can see it in your eyes. You know of dark things that roam the shadows and the bitter taste of pure fear. This is the reckoning in all its forms, my friend. This is what we ghost dancers struggle against. We bring very big news for the Sioux chiefs, and we are eager to reach our destination and share it. An old prophecy has come to pass. A white buffalo calf was born just weeks ago, and this is a sign that great events are about to unfold. They will end with the white man driven off Indian lands forever. This I have seen. Wovoka smiles. But these are just prophecies. We seek braves to join the way of the ghost dance, to help in a way that is real. If you could see the power of the ghost dance, you would understand. Whether you believe or not, I think that the Great Spirit sent you for a reason. If you want to understand more about our cause, talk to a man in Deadwood. He is called Bull all the time, but among the whites he is known as Charlie Bull. Tell him Wovoka sent you. If you are willing to assist our cause, he has a task for you. At the very least, he can help you find shelter in Deadwood. And he kind of stops, and you notice the Paiutes kind of nodding, and he kind of just looks at each of you, holding your gaze for a few seconds.
Yeah, we'll certainly looking at Charlie Bull. Can't speak for my companions, of course, but
I'm intrigued.
Okay. Any questions you want to ask him?
how far have you got to go for this meeting of yours?
He kind of he looks at you and pauses for a second. We go east, south of the Cheyenne River to Sioux Nation territory, to a place of meeting. A week's travel.
Now you're saying this is going to clear all the white folk from your areas. Is that peacefully, or is it going to be? And I'll let that trail off.
He kind of looks at you and sort of shrugs. Prophecy, my friend, prophecy. Prophecy can happen in many different ways. Perhaps an event is coming where the white man will simply leave of their own accord. Perhaps, like the Battle of 10,000 Arrows, the white man will bring conflict to the Sioux nations again, and that will cause more suffering amongst both people and see the white man driven off our lands permanently. Or perhaps it is merely a dream, and this is something that will happen over a long period of time. It is hard to tell with prophecy. All I know is the birth of the white buffalo calf has triggered the beginning of these great events.
Why did the other tribe wish to see you dead?
The Order of the Raven claim they're a militant arm of the Ghost Dancers, but this is a lie. Those Indians we fought tonight that you helped fight take up Raven's cause and follow in his footsteps. Even worse, they pretend to be loyal members of their tribes while doing evil deeds in secret. If they aren't stopped, they'll destroy what remains of our way of life and then move on to destroy the white man's society too. Ravenites take the quick and easy way to power, rejecting the old ways, the bringers of darkness, terror, war. Much of their disposition stems from a young brave named Raven. It is claimed that he saw his whole family killed by whites, and in his quest for revenge broke open doors that should have stayed closed. Evil that had slept for centuries swarmed out toward the light. This is the reckoning that I mentioned, a tremendous upheaval of spirits. The hunting grounds, a world of spirit just beyond man's sight, are overrun with evil beings called Manitous. They seek only to spread fear, death, destruction in the next world and in ours. Sometimes they get into a dead person and bring him back. Maybe you've seen this with your own eyes. Maybe you have yet to see it. But you will. And yes, it could be next year or the next century.
I do feel like leaning over and say, "Have you heard the word?"
Well, friends, it is time that we sleep.
I'd like to thank you for your hospitality, young Will
Revoker.
Volk. And
You're
I will stand up and I'll shake his hand, and I'll probably just go back to the stagecoach and sleep in that.
Okay. Any of you thinking about setting watches, or are you just going to sleep?
I'm thinking keeping watches.
Oh.
Since they've been attacked already. You say that there's not more, and one of them escaped.
Okay.
I'll get ready for the horse to give it a feed. For a horse to give it a feed for the night.
Yep.
do the Indians do as they turn in? Do they set watches?
A couple of them, yes, they do have a couple of Indians that remain awake, and they will kind of rotate through. But it's before the first light. Those of you who are awake at this time on watch will note that the Indians just silently all seem to rise at a similar time, pack up their goods and their belongings, and without waking those of you who are asleep, but Wavoka kind of nodding at those of you who are on watch, you watch them kind of almost fade into the pre-morning glow, very silently, very quietly, as they kind of just head out, taking everything with them, clearing the majority of the signs. Even the fire pit that they dug, they'd kind of smoothed it over and covered it in. And so those of you who, as you awake, you'll discover in the early morning light that you are essentially alone in the vast plains of the Badlands.
I'm still on ranch hours, so I'll have been awake.
Yeah. Fine. Well,
I do believe it's time to get moving.
Best we get up, says Jeb McKeever. Let's get ourselves back on track and head down towards Deadwood, shall we?
Sounds good.
like a plan.
Aye.
The journey continues. He pulls. Jeb kind of steers the wagon, and those of you on horseback kind of follow the wagon back up, gradually catching back back onto the Deadland stage, and continuing to head south. The journey is uneventful, certainly for the next sort of 5 or 6 hours, and you gradually, after sort of 3 or 4 hours, you start to see more signs of life, people moving around. And then you get the sense that you're kind of nearing Deadwood as even more people come into view. As the stagecoach rumbles over a rise, you hear Jeb McKeever's voice spouting various exclamations and expletives. "Well, I'll be a suck-egg mule," he shouts over the thundering of the coach's wheels. Those of you in the coach kind of look out to see what's kind of got him all in a tiz, and those of you on your horses, you kind of pull up in front and to the sides of the front of the coach. You notice that to the south, the trail winds across several miles of open prairie to Deadwood, and you can kind of see Deadwood just in the distance, on the edge of the Black Hills. Off to the east, you can see marching columns of troops in blue coats, seemingly thousands of them, moving in towards and very possibly to surround Deadwood. "We're getting in there before they do," Jeb promises, snapping the reins to drive the horses harder. And immediately the coach lurches forwards and starts to pick up pace. The rest of you on horseback kind of digging your spurs in and getting your wagon, your horses to kind of keep up. You continue on this kind of hastened pace for the next hour as the miles to Deadwood get eaten up. And then about maybe a couple of miles outside, you see a ragtag group of soldiers wearing their blue Union coats, kind of walking and trudging along the edge of this Deadwood stage road. Several of them kind of stop and kind of hold their hands out to try and get you to stop.
I think what the stage drivers do.
I was going to say I'm not driving.
Jeb kind of glances over towards those of you on horseback. Stop or carry on?
Your stage.
Nah.
Who are they?
Unionists, as far as I can tell. Custer's army.
You got anything to hide?
Just you lot. You got anything to hide?
Look
Nope.
around at everyone else. Not that I know of. How many are there?
There's about 8 in this group.
I'll ride slightly ahead.
Okay.
I just sort of like shout ahead of him and go, "What's the problem?"
Spare any food, water, and medicines? We got injured ones here.
We had a diversion, so we're running short ourselves. You've got an army over there, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that'll do. All right then. Thanks anyway.
Good luck.
And you.
I'll wave the coach through.
One of the other ones, bandage around his arm. So his rifle is slung over his back, bandage around his arm, slight rip in the sleeve of his sort of Union coat. Any Indians in there?
No? Should there be?
Well, Custer wants to know if anybody's moving Indians around. Bastards. Did this to us, they did.
But what do you do to them?
Well, we tried to meet them on their own terms. Didn't go so well.
After I'm sure they did what people are calling God's work.
Heathens, the lot of them.
See?
I'm going to shake my head and I feel the urge to say, stay in the light.
No, wrong game. Wrong game. Clear skies.
This guy, that's right.
You continue past. They kind of watch you. Several of the injured ones, at least, you notice that they kind of have dirty bandages, limping with bits of stick and that kind of stuff. The wounds on most of them, some of them are quite nasty. Some of them are just very superficial. But you continue on. Arriving as you do in Duskwood in the early afternoon.
Problem is the arrows weren't cleaned, so they've been shot by arrows. They've got problems.
Yeah, especially when you dip those arrows into like town manure.
Cow shit and all sorts. Yeah.
True. You won't be able to see any of that, will you? Oh, because I haven't done that. There we go. Okay. You come in sort of yeah. You kind of come in from the it's weirdly positioned this. So if you think the south of the map, you kind of come in that way, and then you were kind of the north of the map is kind of more likely, is more akin to being aligned with being inside the Black Hills themselves. It kind of sits in a gully just before you reach the Black Hills. They're kind of right behind you, dominating the east skyline. It kind of brings you up High Street, gets to Stebbins and Post Bank, and Jed kind of pulls and goes, "Well, gentlemen, this is as far as the stage goes. Been a pleasure having you, and thanks for helping out with that little bit of a problem earlier on. Did you take the bodies?"
Yeah, we've got rewards
Yeah.
to claim.
Yeah. You might want to be taking them down to the sheriff's place. I'm trying to see where the sheriff is on here.
Yeah, I can't see one.
I bet it's right here. Oh, that's
Well,
a corral, isn't it? It's
that's a corral. Yeah. That's probably the corral for the Grand Central Hotel. I know the Grand Central Hotel has a corral attached to it. That's a bit weird. There
street
isn't
parking.
a mention of where the sheriff's place is. Let's call that building there the let's call that building there the sheriff's. Okay.
Seems as good as anywhere because it's opposite the saloon and
Yeah. Exactly.
Now we got the name of one of these guys, didn't we? I'm just trying to think what it's
Yeah.
called.
Charlie Bull.
But no. That Charlie Bull's the guy
Oh.
we're giving a meeting. Was it Big Danny or something?
What, you mean one of the dead bodies?
Yeah, the guy who was the main leader.
Sam Bass.
Sam Bass, that's
Yeah.
right.
yeah, it was the Bass Gang.
It was the Bass gang. Yeah.
Okay, unload.
Yeah, because we've got all the guns, haven't we? People took guns that
Yeah.
they needed, but I think we've got a list somewhere of guns that have been taken and stored, and we've got the horses as well. We went and found the horses, didn't we?
Yeah.
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 I still untie my donkey and put my bits and pieces onto it.
Okay. So you can all make sure you've all got a horse if you want. You can add a horse to your characters if you haven't got one.
That including saddle and tag.
That would include saddle and tack, yeah. What's in the name of the sheriff here? I'm just looking for his name. Give me a sec. All right, what's the plan? The two wagoners will kind of probably take the wagon down to here, bring the horses into this corral here, and then they're going to head across into the Grand Central Hotel for drink and food and other interesting delights.
I'll probably saddle the horses first.
You can do that. There will be a cost associated with doing that, but you can certainly get them stabled.
There was. We were,
Do we
given
want to?
the, we were given the name of somebody to speak to. Was it Carmichael?
Charlie Bull.
Charlie Bull. Okay.
Charlie Bull.
Do we want to drag these bodies down to the sheriff's first and get this reward?
Let's do
Yeah,
it first.
good point.
Okay. Give me a sec. Okay. You Okay, so you're going to stable your horses, yeah?
Yeah.
There's a livery stayed at the bottom. Carmichael's livery.
Carmichael's livery. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then there's a great big place here. So, yeah. Carmichael's livery.
Well, we'll drop the bodies off first, otherwise we're going to have to carry them rather than have them draped over the back of the horses.
This is true. Okay, so you head off down, you know, leading the horses with the bodies on down to the sheriff's place. Sat on a kind of a sort of a rocking chair on the porch veranda kind of area of the sheriff's office is what appears to be a sheriff. A Winchester rifle kind of propped up by his side, two Colts on his hip, the sheriff's badge. The hat is kind of tilted a little bit over his face. It looks like he might be asleep.
Pull up in front of his place and pick at the horses against the railing.
Okay, you do that.
Not being quiet about it.
No. And walk up to him.
As you kind of the first one of you to put your foot on the bottom step of the veranda, he kind of immediately reaches up and tilts his head back. Gentlemen,
Sheriff?
new in town?
Yeah, we figured we'd come to you first because we had a problem with some vermin on the outskirts and reduce your problem a little bit. I believe there's a reward for these this particular vermin.
Who you got? He says, and he stands up, and as he does so, he picks up his rifle. Puts the barrel down to the ground, so kind of carrying it casually, but it's still in his hand.
We were ambushed on the outskirts by members of the Bat Gang. You'll find them here.
Including Sam Bass himself.
Yeah.
Sam Bass is still alive, isn't he? We didn't kill him.
Oh God, yeah, you've still got
Yeah.
Sam Bass alive.
He came for he was here for hanging.
That's right. I forgot about that.
He was tied on the back of my mule, if memory serves me.
Yeah, I think it was.
Jesus. Okay.
So while they're saying that, I'll leave my dog up and say, this is...
Gentlemen, if you don't mind, can you take those bodies down to let's see.
I'm expecting the Empire Bakery. They're going in pies.
Mrs. Millions would like to see them.
I'm just trying to have a look. Jesus. If there was if the name of the Calamity Jane is actually in Deadwood.
Oh.
So is Wild Bill Hickok. Get to that later.
Well, we do now.
You'll find that out later.
Somebody just walked past going, do you know that Calamity Jane and Wild Bill Hickok are in Deadwood?
Yeah.
I can tell by the singing coming from the opera house.
Okay, let's say that's who it is. Okay. Take them to old Whitney's down there.
Didn't Calamity Jane actually marry Wild Bill Hickok?
Yes, I think she did.
And wife.
Yes. She appeared in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show later in the year, but she was an acquaintance of Wild Bill Hickok. Yeah. No, not it doesn't say she. Her spouses were Clinton Burke and William Steers. And doesn't say that she married. She wasn't. Doesn't say she married. While Bill, she was just a acquaintance.
Just a bedfellow. Is that what you're saying?
Probably. You know how these things go. All right. Let's say. I apologise because I don't know exactly, so we'll call it that. Okay. He says, take it down to old Tom's down there, and he points down a road just a little bit further down, probably sort of this building down here. The undertaker there will measure and get those off your hands. And now let's have a conversation with Mr. Bass. And he kind of steps and kind of steps forwards and kind of takes Sam and kind of leads him into the sheriff's office in the jailhouse. He puts him inside a cell, comes out, opens a drawer in his desk, pulls out a sheaf of papers, quite a big stack of kind of loose paper, and he kind of thumbs through it, pulls one out, puts it on the desk. So, I take it you're here to claim the reward.
Indeed we are.
Well, gentlemen, by the powers that are vested in me here in Deadwood, I'm authorized to pay you $2,500. For Sam Bass and his gang. And he kind of pulls out an even bigger set of keys, and he goes up to the other side of his desk, away from the door, bends down and kind of sticks it into a big sort of iron safe. Opens it up, pulls out some money, closes it, and then proceeds over the next few minutes to count $2,500.
If we put them in £500 bundles, $500 bundles, that'd be much easier.
That'd be great, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to count it ourselves.
Yeah.
In dollar bills, you get a bag the size of a suitcase.
Yeah. Yeah. It gives you a big bag with 500. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of money. And he kind of counts it out and he places it on the deal. Gentlemen, look after yourselves, spend it wisely. Don't flash it around too much.
Lean over and shake his hand.
If you're looking for somewhere to stay, I can recommend the Grand Central Hotel. If you're looking to have a flutter, I recommend the Mint Gambling Saloon. Anything else? If you want a bit of entertainment, there's the theatre. There's several theatres. And the saloon. I strongly suggest you stay out of Chinatown with that much money.
Are you aware of the army approaching, by the way?
He looks at you for a second and... Yeah, I'm aware. Not looking forward to it.
What is
The
what is the state of things between the army and Deadwood at the moment?
Well, we will tolerate them as long as they behave themselves. They don't have jurisdiction here, but they're claiming that they are here to ensure that no further deaths at the hand of the Sioux nations can take place.
Have you had many deaths at the hands of the Sioux Nation at Deadwood?
Well, allegedly, a dozen or so miners were stabbed to death, hacked to pieces, then scalped to the southwest of here. I say allegedly. All the signs suggest it was Indian, but I'm not necessarily sure that that's the case. But our good old Colonel Custer has decided that was enough for him to march east, despite the beating that he took at the Battle of 10,000 Arrows, and is going to claim that he's going to police the Badlands. Myself, I think it's an excuse, and it's going to lead to nothing but trouble. So, maybe add the Unionists to your list of people to stay clear of with that much cash.
And on it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Don't get into trouble, gentlemen. I would hate to have to put you the other side of these bars, especially after the service you've done to Deadwood. He tipped his hat to you.
Sorry, you said we're in October. What year are we in?
It's September 1880.
1880.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to go back to the bank and put some money into it.
I don't blame you. Debbins and Postbank.
Yeah. How do the banks work?
You
this
put it
then?
in one bank and that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say,
you hope it
you've
doesn't
gotta
get
come back
robbed.
You've got to come back to the same bank to take it out again.
Correct.
Yeah, thought so.
I'm not sure if you can get promissory notes or something from one bank to another.
Yeah,
I'd have to
sure.
look into it technically of how it actually works, but yeah, for now, just assume that that is the case. You can put it in the bank here, and that's it.
Right. Yeah, stable the horses, and then
Or in fact, I'm going to go to the Grand Central Hotel and they can stable my horse.
yeah, actually, if stabling is part of the
Well, they've got
cost of the room.
they've got the horse park at the back, haven't they? And across the road, they've got the overflow. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, better because it's closer as well, just in case we need to get out of there quickly.
Okay.
and I do believe my next port of call will be having a bath and a shave.
A bath and a shave, eh? Okay. Yeah. You're going to go to the Grand Central Hotel?
Yep.
Okay. So you stable your horses. We'll figure out the cost of that later because I can't find it in the book. I was hoping it might have had it in the book, but oh, hang on a minute. I've now maybe found it.
Very sure we can afford it.
$600 a night.
Yeah.
looking at the cost, it's going to be maybe a few cents a day, I suspect. Yeah, $500 is a huge amount of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And after I'd already taken the thing that gave me lots of money anyway, so
I
I'm
just looked
moving
at,
target.
I looked at what Sam Bass's Wanted Dead or Alive poster was from the 1800s, and it was $2,500. So I thought, well, there you go. Have it. Okay. You're heading to the Grand Central Hotel after. Remind me where you're dropping your horses off. And make some notes. Carmichael's livery.
If the hotel stables the horses, if we've got a room, then we'll stable them there.
Okay. Yeah, the hotel will stable the horses. The stables sit behind a building. The wooden sign out the front says Office of Indian Affairs. So you go into Grand Central Hotel and you kind of let's have a look. Rooms per day, boarding with meals is $3. So why don't we call it Actually, though, it's probably okay. All right. You head into the Grand Central Hotel. A couple of things that you notice. First and foremost, there are 4 Indians sat around a table. The table is empty. There are no cups, saucers, plates. In fact, it doesn't look like they've even had a meal. They're just sat there kind of with their arms down and their weapons at their side and things, but they're just sort of sat there. There's a little bit of a gap around them. People are, I'll tell you what, let's have some dice rolls today. We don't need to dice roll. I'm just going to have a look at Blake's character. Give me notice rolls, please. Always remember, you're rolling your dice. You will roll a wild dice as well, and the target number is always 4.
So we just click on the box that has dice type plus no.
Yep, just click on the box. There are no modifiers at this point, so just roll a straight up roll. Look at that. Doctor succeeds. Colt succeeds.
And then one that doesn't, I think.
Tom's the only one that doesn't. Yeah.
I can't see my roll on the list. How weird.
Yeah, I had to scroll down.
Scroll down, Colt.
Oh, we've got free reroll. Yeah.
Somebody click free on the reroll. You don't have a free reroll, but there you go.
I'll spend a penny then since I
Yeah,
rolled.
spend a penny. Okay. So here's kind of what you notice. So again, the Indians are dressed not too dissimilar to they're dressed a little bit like the Ravenites that you saw. Their clothing is not too dissimilar to them. The difference here is this is more traditional garb. Again, animal skins and things that are sewed together, probably using gut of some kind of animal for the twine, moccasins, etc. The axes are all very crude and very basic. There are no crockery or anything at the table, and the individual that are, the Indians that are sat at the table are almost statuettes still.
Do they
People
have
around
firearms?
them. Say again.
Do they have firearms?
No. A couple of them have bows and arrows, which are sat against against their chairs.
Did the clothes they're wearing and the weapons they have show the function?
Say again. You are hard to hear. Then.
Do the clothes and the weapons look more for show over function?
No, they look quite nasty. They look. The weapons definitely look like they will do the job. But they're not brilliantly made, so they're probably not modern metals. They're probably kind of older iron and stuff, and probably hand cast rather than, I would say machine cast, but I'm not sure if we're machine casting in the 1880s. Anyway,
yes, they would be.
Yeah, they would be. So, as far as you can tell, it's very rudimentary gear. It's not too dissimilar, though, to the gear that the Paiutes had in terms of quality and condition. The patrons of the common dining room of the Grand Central are politely ignoring the Indians, but they're not being rude. And every now and then you'll notice that like the maitre d' will kind of look over at them, and there is a slight shake of a head from one of them, and she kind of goes and busies herself doing something else.
It'll be fun when the soldiers get in.
Say again?
But this is going to be fun when the soldiers get here.
It is going to be fun when the soldiers get here. Yeah. You go to the front desk. A man at the front desk kind of looks at you and can I help you?
Rooms, if you've got them.
Yeah, can I check your stables?
You can. Stables are fine, but by all means, go out. Stable hand is Tim.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a word with him.
Okay.
Thank you.
How many rooms you looking for, gents? Sharing? One each?
No, we'll go 5, I think.
5 rooms. How many nights? 1 night? Passing through? 2 nights? 3 nights? 5 nights?
We'll pay it for a week.
7 nights? Well,
Discount for that, surely.
room and board?
Please.
Indeed.
And stabling,
And stabling.
assuming that Blake approves.
Nothing wrong with our stables. I mean, if you don't like them, you can take the horses down to the livery.
I'm sure everything will be fine.
Blake, you head down the back. You kind of go out the back, and there's kind of a small gate at the back with a little hut, and then generally speaking, the horses are just left to roam in the paddock. There's plenty of hay, troughs of water, and then the sort of the stable area is just full of hay and other, blankets and things for horses. There is a youngish lad, maybe 16, 17, kind of pushing around some, tidying up the front area of the livery.
Tom, is it?
Tim, aye.
Tim, sorry, I didn't hear the guy. Are those the only horses you got in there? Have you got some back there? I assume there's-
We've only got 2 at the moment.
Okay. What's your maximum that you can take?
Push 12, but I don't like to do that many.
Mind if I go and have a look at your stalls?
Sure.
Cool. Thank you. I'll have a quick look in.
Okay. Stalls are small, not cramped, not designed for huge horses, but they're big enough, certainly, to house your horses. There are a total of 15 of them, 3 of which are full of paraphernalia. Kind of explains why he can take 12.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them show signs of occupation. He's just, one of them is still to be mucked out. The other one has been mucked out and fresh straw and stuff's in there. And you kind of got the impression that he was in the process of about to muck the second one out when you kind of interrupted him.
I'll just do a quick check of the stalls, see what they're like. Quick check of the feed, see if that's okay. And I'll also have a quick check of the 2 horses that are in there, see if they're healthy.
Yeah, okay. Let's do... Oh, dear. Give me trade ranching.
Um,
You want to spend a penny?
yeah, will do. When I find them.
On the card, you can actually hit Benny and reroll with a Benny.
But as I can tell, you'll probably have to reroll it again manually.
Yeah, I think you have to reroll it yourself manually. Nice. You got excellent. Okay. No signs of disease on the two horses. Their coats are shiny. They look like they've been brushed and looked after today. They seem happy enough, just kind of eating bits of hay and what little. So there isn't a huge amount of grass left in the paddock, but that's not unsurprising given where you are, the temperatures, and the fact that probably lots of horses have been in here. The pile of straw that they can just eat on as they want, or hay, it's hay, isn't it? They eat, not straw. It's absolutely fine. Decent quality. It's not mulchy or mildewy or anything like that. The feed that is inside the stalls of the two that are there looks to be decent quality. It's not the best quality in the world. You would probably mix it differently. You would probably make it a little bit better or change some of the ingredients, but there's nothing wrong with it. And the stalls themselves are clean and tidy and well maintained. The roof over the place is solid, and it looks like the doors can be closed and bolted from the outside.
Okay, I was going to say, looks like you're running a damn fine stable here, Tim.
Well, I try. My papa taught me everything that I know and tried to pay it forward.
Yeah, mine did. Mine too. Me too.
Oh, you're in the business then?
Ranch. Yeah.
Oh. If you're staying in town for a bit, could always use a spare pair of hands.
Well, I'll pop out just to see the horse every so often. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to get it in your way.
Well,
Like you got it started.
Thank you, sir. And he kind of doffs his cap at you, and then kind of turns and goes inside with his broom. The only thing that you're a little bit concerned about is if he's running this on his own, it's going to be a lot of work to handle all your horses. So you might have to figure out if he gets extra hands in when he's busy.
I'll be popping down every morning anyway.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, back to inside. The proprietor kind of, well, all that for 7 nights, breakfast and board, drink not included. You pay for your liquor separately. Stabling, $40 each.
That seems a little bit steep.
A little bit steep. It's actually quite cheap.
Yeah. $5, well, just under $6 each night.
So a high-class hotel. This isn't quite high class, but it's the best hotel in town. Would be $10 a night.
I suppose we're getting bed and we're getting horses seen to as well.
Yeah. So actually, it's not steep. It's
right.
With basic food and drink, it's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
I tried to fumble in my pocket to take out $40.
Okay, you pay $40. That's each, by the way, each room. Yeah. So you each pay $40. So just knock off. Add $500 to your character. Knock off $40 for a week's accommodation and meals at the Grand Central Hotel.
Yeah, done that.
And he calls over Annie, would you show these fine gentlemen to their rooms, please? Top floor, rooms 1 through 5. And he kind of hands each of you like a key with a small wooden tag on it with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it.
Wonderful, thank you.
Your rooms are up at the top floor in the effectively what would be the roof space. And so you've all kind of got sort of gable windows type thing where your windows are out the roof, and when you open the windows, you don't have a balcony as such that you can stand outside, but you can certainly throw them open and get the glorious smells of Deadwood drifting into your hotel rooms.
Lovely. But we've got the penthouse suite, haven't we? So that's good.
Yeah. All right. As you settle into your rooms, let's take a 10-minute break. Give Medi a chance to stretch his legs and do his weed.
We just stoke another bong.
Yeah, just stoke another bong.
Thanks for the raid there in Wills. You caught us at the perfect time. On a break.
Yeah. Hello, cat. Okay, let's just wait for Kath to get back.
I'm gonna have to bail bed.
Say again, bud.
I'm gonna have to bail. I'm struggling to stay awake here.
All right, no worries, bud. You have a good one. Understandable, first day and all that.
There's just so much information I'm still processing.
Yeah, no worries. Have a good rest of your evening. I'll catch up with you later in the week.
And starvation is
It's your age as well, John. You know, it's terrible.
Oh,
But true.
Suck cock, Roddy.
Take care.
Cameras have all gone wrong now, Mehdi.
And no, I'll get him back for that.
Yeah, he started a new job today, so always hard. I wasn't actually expecting him to join us today because of that, but good to see him at least for a bit. Where is Catherine?
I bet he's taking the dog out.
Yeah, probably.
Probably some sheep.
He's a bad boy.
He's just put the Velcro wellies on.
Yes. I'm sure most people are quick release ones now, don't they?
Modernised.
Yep. Yeah, I will be taking use of the bath and shave facility in this hotel.
Okay, that will cost you an extra $1.
Yeah, not a problem.
But yeah, bath is separate. Okay, I'll just continue our little tale. So you've got yourself settled. The horses are settled. The good ranch hand, Blake, is very happy with how everything is going. It is now sort of late afternoon, about 3:30 or so in the afternoon.
Oh, I'm going to go to the bank.
Go to the bank. Okay. Stebbins.
How much money did we start with, by the way?
Depended on how much you spent, and
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
I had $90 left.
I had 400 and odd because I got that.
But you took the thing that gives you more money, didn't you?
Yeah,
I know
that's
you spent some of your
advances.
points at the end to get more money.
Yeah.
Just having a quick look.
I think you start with 250, but you have to buy your gear from it.
That's right. You start with 250 and you buy your gear.
Right, I need to add all this up again then because I had 250 at the top.
Okay.
The stuff from the bandits.
Yeah.
We got all their gear and things. I'm going to take one of the Colt Frontiers off them. So I've got a second one.
No problem. You can do that. All right. What are your plans? Colt has gone for a Colt has gone for a bath and a shave.
I'll get down into the main room of the hotel's saloon type thing and
Okay.
watch what's going on.
A couple of things that grab you about the Grand Central. It does not appear to be the kind of place that has ladies working the tables.
Okay.
Wrong with the place.
That's probably Nuttall and Man's number 10 saloon and Mint Gambling Saloon, and not this place. So this is very much a proper hotel. It's not a saloon come brothel.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing you notice. The clientele in here are slightly more upmarket, but they do seem to be pretty much more local than anything. People are enjoying drinks. There's no real gambling going on. In fact, there are no gambling tables in here. There is a piano that is playing, but it's not too rowdy or rowdy. It's just very, just kind of in the background, kind of just there. It's a bit like a kind of a posh modern hotel. The two brothers, the two McKeever brothers, are sat at one of the tables, currently tucking into a meal of some kind. The 4 Indians are still sat at the table, not eating or drinking.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm watching. See it when the soldiers arrive or anyone else arrives, what happens.
Well, we still need to find Charlie Bull, don't we?
Yeah.
And I'd rather get him before the soldiers get here.
Well, I'm going to assume by the time Colt has finished his bath, it's probably about 4:15. You all kind of congregate down in that sort of that restaurant-y area of the hotel, have a quiet beer, and mull over what it is you're thinking of doing next.
So, fellow travellers, I know we've only been together 5 days, but we've done a lot in those 5 days. And how do you feel about helping the ghost dancers? Should we speak to this Charlie Bull?
Yeah. I want to know what's going on.
Yep, I've got piqued my curiosity.
Yeah. I'm curious as to what's happening.
I'm a big believer in the underdog. And they were mighty kind to us when we were out there, so more than can be said for our fellow brethren.
I love it. I love it.
Well, they were kind to us because we saved their lives.
Yeah.
Tom and Dr. New are going to get on so well.
We're both curious, are we?
Curious is a major hindrance.
Yeah. You're going to have so much fun screwing us over, in other words.
It just means I just throw something at you and you can decide if it's interesting or not. And if it's interesting, you want to know what it is. You want to pull on that thread.
Yep, following it.
Okay. How are you going to go about finding Charlie?
I'm going to ask the barman.
That's his 4 Indians.
I was going to say that might be the easiest thing to 4 Indians.
All right, everybody give me streetwise rolls, please.
Streetwise. I don't have streetwise.
Is it just
No, I
unskilled?
don't, unfortunately.
If it's unskilled, you can roll it as an unskilled skill. It's just not you're just not very good at rolling it as an unskilled skill.
But it does not appear on our list if it's.
Yeah, you roll an unskilled. You should have an option to do unskilled.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Newton's.
Wild dice came up there.
Yeah. Somebody else's wild dice has just come up there. Tom's wild dice. The pair of you, your curiosity has really got you, and so you are very insistent until you find somebody that can tell you where he is. You ask the barman, and he says, "I don't know where Charlie would be this time of day. Go next door to the Office of Indian Affairs." You go next door to the Office of Indian Affairs. And you kind of end up doing this. One of the people behind the desk in the Office of Indian Affairs kind of, Charlie Bull. He's probably doing the thing that he shouldn't do, and he's sitting in on the King Lear play across the road.
He's at the theatre.
I would have guessed that.
He's watching
Why
King
shouldn't-
Lear more.
You head out from the. You gather the rest of the posse. You head out across to the Langrish Theatre. You get about halfway over when you hear from inside the building the sound of a pistol firing.
Oh,
And then, just as you arrive at the door, you hear another pistol go off.
That's never a good sign.
well, unless they're celebrating.
Oh, it's a modern
Shooting
version
up
of
in the
King
air,
Lear.
it might be all right.
What? So I don't recall pistols in King Lear.
The second pistol shot that you hear, because you're right at the door, you can hear a pistol shoot, and then the sound of clapping and applause.
Oh.
Okay, maybe that's how they encourage the audience to applaud.
Yeah,
There
that's
is a small box office with a small kind of like slit, and in it there is a bored-looking youngish woman, and she kind of looks up at you and nickel apiece.
What's with the shooting, ma'am?
It goes off at that point, and you can hear a round of applause and some cheering and whooping. Sounds like the audience are enjoying themselves, sir.
Oh,
Oh,
we're looking
several
for
nickels.
Charlie Bull. Is he on the stage or in the audience? Do you know?
Audience, I would say.
And what theatrical production are the audience enjoying this fine afternoon?
My understanding, and it's not to my taste, mind you, is they're listening to a selection of scenes from King Lear.
With pistols?
Well, I don't think that's. I think that's more the audience getting excited about.
Pinnacle Entertainment Group to holds repairs?
She smiles at you.
You're not worried that the audience are shooting at the actors?
No, they definitely won't be shooting at the actors. We don't encourage that kind of behaviour in the theatre.
That's
I'll
why I
pass over
didn't say.
$1 for all of us.
Okay. And she kind of gives you all little chits, and she kind of gestures to the curtain.
Head on through.
Yeah.
So going on through, you can see you come into the back of the theatre. There is just rows and rows and rows of chairs with. Yeah, it's actually quite full, surprisingly enough. And literally, as you kind of walk in and you take it all in, the actor on stage suddenly pauses and somebody yells "woo!" and then somebody else goes "bang!" fine. Then there's a pistol goes off into the ceiling and people start cheering, and you're not sure whether they're cheering because somebody's fired a pistol into the ceiling or whether they're cheering because the act was very, very good. But you see a man on the stage in kingly robes, with a demented-looking gesture rolling around at his feet. From the catwalk, somebody showers rain onto the stage from a watering can, and thou, all shaking thunder, bellows the king, smite flat the thick I can't even pronounce this. Smite flat the thick rotundity, o' the world. On cue, stagehands rattle a sheet of corrugated tin behind the curtain, simulating thunder. Several members of the audience, which is composed mostly of miners, fire guns in the air, stamp their feet, hoot in clear appreciation of the finer things. Give me notice rolls.
I'm going to be looking at the ceiling as well to see that there's no metal up there for ricochets.
There's no metal up in the ceiling. There are lots of holes in the ceiling, though.
Ah,
And here and there, you can see little bits of fading blue. Okay, Cole. Tom. All right, the pair of you. Billy has. Billy didn't come down and join you. Basically, he just said he was tired and he decided he was going to nap after not really getting much sleep that last night from the gunfight, and not being too trusting of the Indians. You notice on one of the forward balconies to the right of the stage, as you're looking at it, an Indian man with a rather sour look on his face, almost a scowl, as he kind of sits forwards in that kind of unimpressed way, watching the show. He appears to be a Lakota Sioux Indian.
so he's dressed different to the 4 Indians in the hotel.
He's dressed like a white man.
Oh,
So, suit.
Yeah.
Shirt, hat.
okay. Is there an obvious way to get up there?
Yeah, you can go down the side through a door, and you suspect there's some stairs that would lead you up to the balconies. There's probably 3 on either side, and he's on the most forward one, nearest the stage.
In which case, yeah, we'll head up and knock politely at the door before going through.
It isn't really a door, it's a curtain.
Knock politely on the curtain.
You don't hear it, you don't make a sound when you're not politely on the curtain.
Just stick my head through and say, Charlie Bull, I presume.
As you're doing that, as you do that when you stick your head through, you can hear that he's muttering something in his native language. The tone suggests he's not particularly happy with whatever's going on the stage. And as you kind of say that, he kind of spins to face you, steps back against the wall, brandishing a handmade obsidian blade that seemed to appear almost reflectively in his hand. What the hell do you want? The nickel wasn't wooden this time. Leave me alone.
That's okay, Charlie. We were sent to talk to you by Wivoka, who we met last night.
Give me a persuasion roll and give yourself a +2. And you should be a priest. As a priest, you should have pretty good persuasion. No.
Yeah, I was going to say I've got nothing extra in it.
How do I add a +2?
So when you go to
click on the
roll,
dice.
Yeah.
Click on the dice, you've got all the modifiers.
Oh, you got it. Yeah.
You should be able to add +2. Cool. That gives you a 6. Okay. Wivoka, you say?
I do.
Well, grab a seat, sit down, let's talk. And don't worry, the noise down there will drown out anything we say up here. And almost at that point, there's a bunch of cheering, clapping, and he kind of scowls again as he kind of glances towards the stage.
I'll wave my colleagues in, and as I sit down, I'm going to say to him, "I don't think you don't appreciate the arts, do you?"
Oh, I love the arts. Got a liking of it back east when I studied. I just don't appreciate people who don't respect the source material. And he ain't respecting the source material. Anyway, so
I think probably I don't think the audience understands the source material.
this is probably true. He says, looking at you. So, you're the ones who came to Avoca's rescue, then?
It seemed like the rightly thing to do.
News travels
Indeed.
fast.
News travels fast in some circles. Indeed, it does. It does. I'm Charlie Bull.
I'll
You are?
stick up my hand. Colt Carson.
Good to meet you, Colt.
Tom
Tom,
Lowry.
he looks between the doctor and the rancher.
Like,
Dr. Newton.
Dr. Newton. Well, friends, you have the thanks of all ghost dancers for saving Wavoka. I'm told Wavoka brought news of the white calf to the Wicasses. It wasn't well received by all of them, but they needed to hear it. There is much debate now among the tribe. They wonder what it is to be done, or what is to be done. Meanwhile, the ravens are gathering. I think the ravens are here in Deadwood too. Haven't been able to find any proof yet. One of the miners, a guy called Wallace Blount, confided in me that he witnessed dealings between the Chinese and my people in the dead of night. 4 days ago, he told me he was looking into the matter, and then he left town to see this claim. He's not returned yet. It's not like him to be away for so long. I'm concerned for his safety. But enough of that problem. I've got another problem. Perhaps more sensitive with our new neighbours. 2 white men were slain in the hills last night, bodies filled with many arrows. One of our warriors, Never Smiles, is missing. But this kind of thing is not like him. We don't believe the people are responsible for this crime, but as you can imagine, it's a delicate matter. I'd like you to go and talk to some friends of mine. Listen to them. See what they have to say.
Where are these friends? In
Well,
town or?
I believe they're causing a little bit of a stir at the Grand Central.
Oh, the 4 gentlemen that's sitting around the table.
That would be them.
And you think they know where your friend is?
Maybe.
Or more specifically, they might know why 2 white men are full of arrows.
Yes, that is what I suspect. I would like you to perhaps investigate before Custer's men find out. And it's better for you to do so, being as you are, than for the Sioux to do so themselves and then run into the Unionists.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
Thank you, Cole.
So I missed the name of the missing Indian.
The missing Indian is called Never Smiles. If you handle that problem,
That's like Blake.
then
it's an email.
If you handle that problem, and if by the time you've done that, my good friend hasn't returned, perhaps we can go on to talk about that problem.
Indeed, it seems like people are going out the way to, it looks like, blame the Indians for things that they don't seem to be doing, or hopefully aren't doing.
And with an army about to arrive in town, it's already going to start getting a bit dangerous for Indians in town.
Well, I think the problem is he inferred that those Indians did do this.
Yeah.
Just he would
Just the wrong
rather
ones.
custody handle them.
It's every chance that those white men deserve to have arrows in them.
Yeah.
Charlie kind of looks at you and nods. That is a possibility. After all, Deadwood is, strictly speaking, an illegal settlement on Indian lands. Though the treaty with the Sioux has smoothed over that to some degree. There are those, especially the Ravens, who circle the place, who would love nothing more than for further conflict to be started between the Sioux and the white man. A repeat of 10,000 arrows, for example. This is all tied to the reckoning, and we need to do what we can to slow it down.
Do you know the names of our four friends in the Grand?
The one who leads them, I believe, is known as Angry Clouds. Tell him.
No clear skies there then.
No clear skies there. Tell him that Bull all the time sent you to listen to his tale. There is a rapturous round of applause, and Charlie kind of glances over and he just looks at you all and says, "Well, thank goodness for that. Show's over. Time for a drink."
I shall rise, shake his hand, thank him for his forwardness, and exit.
Okay. All right. You find yourself back out on Main Street amongst the miners who are gradually kind of disappearing off through the different streets. One thing you notice is, and as it says up there in the text, the city is very much a tent city with the central streets that you see here being the the permanent structures. Everybody else seems to live in tents, all kind of dotted around.
Yeah.
They're in some kind of semblance and some kind of order, but for the most part, they're all kind of clustered around the city.
There's no church here either, is there?
No, there isn't.
Bloody heathens.
Perhaps you should found one.
I will do. I'll do my tent church.
Do your tent church.
Maybe it's in Chinatown.
And that's why nobody goes there, because they don't want to go to church.
Yeah.
All right. Plan.
I'm going to open a bank account for time being.
Okay.
I'm going to put some fundage in there.
You can
Sure.
absolutely do that.
I actually think I'll follow you as well and do the same
Yeah.
thing.
I'm carrying way too much money on me,
Okay.
especially with there being a gambling saloon in town as well.
Yeah.
You all head over to the bank. You open up bank accounts and you deposit funds. Just make a note of how much fundage you are depositing in the bank. So when I rob it later, I know how much you've lost. Unless you stop the thievery.
Has it got a sign outside that's going to say, 3 days since last robbery?
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, it's measured in hours.
Wanted new teller.
Yeah. It has been 3 hours since the last robbery. And then a man flicks over the thing to say days.
So you made me want to put less money in the bank now than.
Putting $350 in there.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just going to put 3 in there.
I'm writing it under notes.
Yeah, so
Just checking.
Where are the notes?
Under the about tab.
Under the what tab?
About.
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 Yeah, put it this way: if someone's robbing the bank, I'm going to be shooting them full of a lot of holes for the amount of money I'm putting in.
Yeah.
How do I save that now?
let's say we've got if you've got $100 on you anyway, you are absolutely loaded.
You
Yeah.
are.
I've got 700 in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely robbing that bank then.
Yeah,
I'm robbing it.
They're going to have a lot of holes in them.
I'm just going to take this $100 down to the mining suppliers because I hear they sell dynamite.
They do.
And
Are
I've
you
heard about
interested
Mr.
in
Nitro and
buying
Mr.
them?
Glycerine's new invention.
They definitely sell dynamite if you're interested in it.
I'll be buying some.
1 stick is $3, 2 sticks is $6, 4 sticks $12, and 8 sticks $24. I mean, that's not individual sticks, so that's an 8-stick cluster of dynamite that you can throw.
And I can buy blasting caps and plungers.
You can buy blasting caps and plungers. Yes, you can. And we know that you will enjoy using them.
Yes.
And it's all for the betterment of your knowledge.
Well, if you don't try things out, you never learn.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, the problem is you've got to survive to trying them out.
I've lived this long.
Just carry
Have you
these 8
tried with
sticks of
dynamite
dynamite.
before?
See how many fingers you have left.
A flamethrower.
They don't have that kind
Hobson. Hellstrom Industries.
Yeah.
Okay. It's getting on to sort of after 5 o'clock by the time you've finished in the bank. As you come out the bank and sort of start to head next door, you notice the 4 Indians leaving the hotel.
I think now's a good time to go have a chat with Angry
Accost them in
Clouds.
an alleyway.
Yeah.
Okay. You go over as they're kind of starting to kind of head towards their horses. You head over to them. One of them kind of watches you as you approach.
My gun hand is gun in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And
With the gun.
with the gun, yeah, and some dynamite. And I shall ask, which of you is Angry Clouds? Bull all the time centers.
As you say that, the one that was watching you kind of inclines his head. That is me.
He says you have a a tale you might want to tell us upon its oldest time.
I have a problem, or my people, we have a problem.
Go on.
One of our warriors never smiles, is missing. And we stumbled across a mining camp in the hills last night. Sorry, this morning. We found 2 miners, bodies filled with many arrows. We're concerned that this points very squarely at my people. And with your army camped
Not my
now
army.
camping on our doorstep, kind of pauses for a second. You do not prescribe to their ways?
No. I
That
believe
is-
live and let live.
That is good to know. I fear that they will bring conflict to both our peoples if not kept at kept under what?
So, question: Where did you find the bodies?
About
camp.
2 hours ride to the south.
Okay, and they were in a camp, mining camp.
They were in a camp. They weren't in a mining camp, but they were in a camp. The reason we presumed they were miners was the goods and the gear that they had: picks, shovels, dynamite, blasting caps.
Okay. So were there other people around, or were they on their own?
They were on their own,
Okay. Where are the bodies now?
still there.
Can I ask why?
We would not wish to touch them.
Okay. Then
Did you remove the arrows?
essentially, we need to go remove the arrows, burn the bodies, and get rid of the evidence. Is that what you're saying?
We'll find out who actually did it.
Well, that's the first bit, so that it can't be put onto the peoples.
Yeah, it was.
He kind of looks at you a little bit surprised. If that is what you feel is necessary, then that could be done, yes.
I look for
Yeah,
straightforward. I look for straightforward solutions for the greater good. So
They are not my people, as it were. If that is what you think would be the right way to treat the deceased of your kind, then absolutely. We would, though, like to understand who was behind it. If it is our people, then we can bring justice on them quickly and quietly, especially if you take your actions, so as to emphasize that this behavior is not a course that we welcome. If it is not our people, then understanding who it is and dealing with them accordingly is also welcome, because it reduces the chance of misunderstanding between our 2 great nations.
Is there a way to identify who's done it by the arrows? Is there maybe a sort of different type
The
of fletching and
arrows-
things you do?
He says the arrows would point to the Sioux.
Right. And when did you last see Never Smiles?
2, 3 days ago.
And was he leaving town or?
He was seen on the edge of town.
Right.
has anything happened to him recently that would have caused him to do it? If it was him, family member deceased? Accident in the family, that kind of thing.
No, not that I am particularly aware of.
Okay.
And there's no abuse from the town folk.
The townfolk here are apathetic to our kind. The sheriff ensures that whatever abuse is given is dealt with quickly to avoid misunderstandings and the nastiness that can occur with such misunderstandings.
Good.
Would bow and arrow be his preferred choice of weapon if he was to attack someone?
How do I... Excuse me. How do I explain this? He, like us, has taken the oath of the old ways. And he just leaves it at that. Almost as if he expects you to know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know what that. Well, actually, do I know what that means?
Do you know what that means? Good question. How would you know what that means? Give me a smarts roll.
I think we'd already discussed the tribes of the ghost dance as well before, about traditional methods and whatnot.
So I just click on the smarts, or
Yeah, just click on smarts. It should roll it. Actually, that's a good point. So, yeah, I mean, good enough. 6. You only need a 4. You recall it mentioned in passing when you were chatting to Avoca. The oath of the old way is a pledge made to honour nature's spirits by foregoing modern technology.
yeah, but would the different tribes have different favors, like tomahawk or knife or bow type thing? Would they all use bows or?
Most will use bows, but you can tell by the style and the crafting of the arrows and the fletchings as to which tribe it would be. And also which ones smell of dog urine versus cow urine.
Yeah,
Can
that's
I,
why.
can I ask to see his arrows, to see how his are made?
Yeah. Very nicely. There's a little bit of shaping, but not a lot. Almost you would imagine the wood has been shaped by it'd be shaped by traditional methods. And the fletchings are bound on using some kind of twine, whether it's plant-based or animal-based, hard to tell, but it's definitely not any kind of modern
Like synthetic. Yeah.
technologies that have been used in making them.
I'll take out a notebook
Yeah,
and just make a sketch of the arrow head, and the feathers and the
Yeah.
attachment. What details I can make of the glue that's used. The same for the
Yeah, not a
say,
problem.
the head of the arrow.
He looks at you a bit bemused, but humours you while you do that, and then once you finish, hand the arrow back.
Yeah. Any unusual casting feature in the head?
Would you normally recover arrows afterwards?
It depends, he says, it depends on whether they were sending a message
And if it was safe to do so.
and if it was safe to do so.
Yeah. Did you see whether the miners were intact? Any parts of their bodies removed?
Good question, actually.
I.e., were they scalped?
Yeah, just having a look.
Also, does he know what they were miming?
I think he said they assumed they were miners because they had dynamite and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Assumed they were miners because they had mining gear.
They in
they were
the
actually bank robbers. They had dynamite.
Yeah, that's right. Just waiting
were
for
they
some
in
fools
the
to put
area
money in the
known
bank.
for gold, for metal ores, for ghost rock?
That he doesn't know.
Okay.
What he tells you. So he says he's unsure because they did not get any closer than the entrance of the camp. They just noted the arrows, which were, and he kind of gestures to the doctor, and the notebook that's in his hand, and he just simply says the arrows were of that kind. We came here to speak to Charlie, who told us to wait. Oh, he wouldn't call him Charlie, he'd call him Bull all the time.
It might be suggested to them that they wait somewhere other than the town, given that he is headed this way.
Yes. We will wait. He says, it is getting dark. It would be foolish for us to travel south, even a short distance in the dark, and possibly not conducive to you finding any more information. We will wait here. We will seek out Bull all the time, and he will accommodate us.
Sorry for asking again, but where were the miners again? What?
2
how many
hours
miles?
south.
2 hours
south.
south. Yeah.
South.
So just in the Black Hills to the southeast of Deadwood.
Can we ask you to mark it on our quest
Probably,
map?
I mean, that's probably no more than 3 miles, 4 miles maximum.
Do you think we've got time to do it tonight? And I'll look at Blake.
Might need to do a little bit of shopping for light sources.
Right.
I'm guessing going out in
We could, but it might look a bit odd leaving at night after just stabling horses.
True.
True. Yeah.
And we've been riding all day.
Yeah, it'd be nice to give the horses a bit of a break.
They arrange to meet you first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
first thing in the morning at a civilized hour, or first thing in the morning by their clock?
They will
Right.
accept civilized hour.
Losing good hours there. Let's go on ranch time.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll ride on an empty stomach.
Well, if leave early, get breakfast, get back for your evening meal. Otherwise, you miss your evening meal.
Miss my breakfast.
Which is, I think, where we're going to go now, isn't it?
You're going to go and head. Are you going to go anywhere especially going to go back to the... Well, I mean, you have meals included
I was
in
going to say
your
it's paid
room.
for, yeah.
Or are you going to go somewhere else and pay for it?
No, I'm not going to pay extra.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go to the room for now.
Well, you head over to back to the Grand Central. The Indians head off to what you assume is Charlie Bull, wherever he may be. They agree to meet you outside the Grand Central at 9 a.m. tomorrow. They explain that as long as there is no threatening behaviour when you exit, they don't think there'll be too much of a problem with the army. It isn't right outside the city. Probably camped about half a mile out. and they haven't. They've
am
only
I-
just arrived.
Am I right by saying they can't go south unless you come through the town first?
No, you can go south because you can go right. Right. So if we go back to
There's
here,
a map. It's not like a
Yeah.
plug then in this little bit of a.
no, it's not a plateau kind of thing. So Deadwood sits on the very edge of the Black Hills. Where you're going is probably somewhere where between the E and the A on Deadwood. The army has kind of started or will over the next week entrench itself around Deadwood, probably about half a mile out. The soldiers will come into town, but in small groups, and yes, there will be trouble.
Deadwood is surrounded by deep hills.
Yeah, but it's surrounded by hills, deep hills, and a lot of mines. Both traditional mines in the sense of coal and gold, but also ghost rock.
Oh, Ghost Rock, yes.
Yeah, Deadwood's actually inside the hills, isn't it? Oh, you would go through Chinatown before you got to Deadwood if you look at that map.
Yep, just outside. Sorry, the Chinatown's just outside on Main Street.
Yeah. And then down the road is Gayville.
That may or may not have existed in the 1880s.
Probably.
It would have meant something totally different back then as well.
Happy
And
Town.
Seth Bullock was the first sheriff of Deadwood, and I'm assuming that's the sheriff that's here at the moment, who you have met.
Is the general store open still, or is it closed on that?
It is closed for the night.
Okay.
Yeah, I marked a couple of things from there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think rather than start the next section, let's call it a night there.
Yeah, can do. We got no John, have we, so?
Got no John, and you are going to go into an investigative / murder hobo section.
Yes, indeed.
Chopping bodies up and disposing of them down.
Yeah.
So many games you play sometime where
it comes out.
we need a bathroom, don't we, now, to put them in?
I think it's like chopping these bodies up, and I haven't killed this one. It's
That's
weird.
True.
You haven't even tortured them.
No.
Oh.
I find it amazing that there is still a Deadwood is still there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I think it would have gone, but it's like a piece of history, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
if you read the history of the town, in the 1870s, it had a population of nearly 25,000. Today,
Wow.
it has a population of 1,500.
Gotcha. That's crazy. I suppose it's when the mines run out.
And it does say Chinatown dates, and the gold rush attracted Chinese immigrants, peaked at a population of 250.
Well, the fact northeast of Deadwood is a place called Crook City.
Sounds like a safe place to go.
Yeah.
Maybe we should use the bank there.
Yes.
You don't rob your own, do you?
Yeah, don't leave manure on your own doorstep.
There you go, Eddie. There's just to the southeast, Bethlehem, in the middle of the hills.
Well, there's Bethlehem's everywhere.
Yeah.
I do like the Mount Moriah cemetery. It's just like a single hole in the ground, a real mine shaft. I said, drop the next one down.
Yeah.
Sleepy Hollow's near it as well.
And Preston. You've got Preston to the west of it.
And Newcastle.
Why,
That's even worse. Nobody goes to Newcastle.
Nobody does.
I don't know what goes on in Beaver Crossing.
Yeah.
Crook City. Spearfish is
Deadwood
Spearfish.
Doghouse.
Tomahawk, Nemo, Silver City, Wildwood Edition, Colonial Pile Hills, Rapid City.
Yeah. Chapel in the Hills, just above Wildwood Edition.
Cheyenne Crossing. Right. Thank you very much for tonight, Zed. That was brilliant.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
good fun.
Is it?
Good game.
Very much scene setting at the moment.
Yeah.
Next week we will get into the meat of this little section, and then we'll follow up with another interesting section for you all to learn
Do
about.
you know when you glance at the map and you think you read something? I thought it was Raccoon City, but it's Rapid City.
Yeah, indeed. I'm
Oh,
trying to find in the book where it talks about the 10,000 arrows battle, but apparently all I know is it was Custer versus the Sioux, and the Sioux absolutely spanked Custer. I don't believe it's a real battle. I think it's a battle specifically for the game.
No,
Is it a real battle?
not so. It was a bit. I think it was a bit earlier than 1880. Though.
It was the Battle of Little Bighorn.
Yeah, and as a result of that, there was a battle which sought retribution on the Sioux. This may have turned that around.
Okay.
Do you think Bull all the time is really bad about, telling stories about himself that aren't true? Because, Bull's all the time. No.
Very possible.
And when you explained about never smile, you took a pause. I was going to say, have you tried just tickling him?
Yeah, I tell